Welcome to game one of the NBA Finals. The Boston Celtics taking on the Dallas Mavericks. My best bets are on the way. Now, before I talk about where I am, let's first recap how we did in game five of Timberwolves versus Mavericks. We've had about a week off. I brought a little handy-dandy notebook because it was a 2-0 day. That's what we love to see. PJ Washington over in points plus rebounds. Kyle Anderson over in points plus assists. 2-0 day despite it being a complete blowout of a game. I did not get to watch much of game five, but it was a blowout. We love to see a 2-0 day. Let's continue that in the NBA Finals. Now, if you watched that video, it was obviously posted about a week ago. We were in Switzerland. Now we're going to change the scenery. Any guesses where we are right now? We're in Lake Como, Italy. But hopefully you guys are locked in like I am. I got two picks, a player prop, a same game parlay. I'm talking about who I think wins and covers this game, plus the series, all things in between. Let's start off with a bang. Hit that subscribe button. My name's Austin. First and foremost, PrizePicks is a free square, free promo. I need to pay for this. Sign up using our code COS. Save a free square. Jason Tatum to score 1 point. Go sign up using our code COS. You'll get a match on your first deposit up to $100. If you guys didn't come here for that, hopefully we can deliver another 2-0 day for game one. Let's start with the first pick of the day. PJ Washington. I'm taking his over 18.5 PRAs, minus 115 on DraftKings, a standard 1-unit play. Now let's talk about PJ, because we obviously backed him in game five of his last game. We backed him a couple times in that series against the Timberwolves. Now, he didn't have the best shooting performances in that series, but he still performed pretty decently well. He was over this line in 8 of his last 10, averaging about 25 PRAs per game. Now, if I look at how this series goes down, I really think that you're going to see Luka and Kyrie get their own. They're going to do their jobs. But what the Celtics have been really good at is they've just been kind of letting their main scorers go to work. But I think that they're going to give up some points to other scorers. And I don't really know there's a lot of scoring on this Mavericks team besides Luka and Kyrie. And then you'd argue probably PJ Washington's their next biggest scorer. I mean, in the starting lineup, who else is out there? You get Derrick Jones Jr. I mean, sure, he had a couple good games he'll have a game against the Timberwolves pretty good, a couple good games against the Thunder, but outside of that, it's not like a guy that you're giving the ball to and say, hey, go one-on-one. But I think PJ Washington, while they're not going to give it to him and let him go isolation mode, if he gets some mismatches on maybe Drew Holiday down low or maybe Derek White where he has the size mismatch, I could see him going to work there. And I wouldn't be surprised if Joe Mazzulla potentially throws some double teams at Luka Doncic, and potentially we see PJ Washington get wide open looks. We saw him get wide open looks all against the Timberwolves. He just happened to miss them. But I really think he's got a good chance at getting the job done. They've only really played once since they made the trade at the All-Star break, and that was on March 1st. PJ, 17 points, 7 rebounds, did get 0 assists, so you don't love the assists there, but you obviously hit the over in that game, but let's not look into that too much. He had 16 shot attempts in that game, which is pretty solid too. Look, I think PJ Washington is in for a pretty good game. I'm not saying he goes crazy and hits us over in points, but look, I think the points and rebounds are there. The points plus rebounds line is 17.5. The points, rebounds, and assists only one higher. Is PJ Washington getting a triple-double? No, he's not going to get that. But I think there's some assist value there. We're only asking him for 1 assist to make these lines equal. He could get 2 assists, which he's done in 3 straight. He's had 4 assists in a couple playoff games. I think there's a chance there. Look, I think you're going to see some rollers, maybe to Lively, Gafford, rolling to the rim. Maybe he's a weak side guy like maybe Tatum, who's probably guarding PJ, cuts in on him, and PJ could get some wide open three-pointer looks. I feel like this is a very similar play to what we did with Aaron Nesmith against the Celtics, except Nesmith didn't really get any shot attempts because his teammates don't really pass in the ball a ton. I think PJ gets some open looks. So he's hit it in 8 of the last 10. I think he could go to maybe 9 of his last 11. Or maybe better than that, 9 of his last 11. Yeah, I think he really could hit that one. I think he's got a good chance of getting the job done. Now, I can say with game ones, I feel like you don't want to put a lot of straight bets out there because it's game one. It's kind of a feeler out game. So you don't really know what teams are coming in here, what's their game plan going to be. So I have 1 straight bet, that's it. However, I do have a 1-unit same game parlay, and this has 5 legs. So I'm going to put it all up on the screen. Hopefully you guys like the notepad. Like I said, we'll probably be back at home probably by game 3 or 4 of the series, but 5-legger. You can see all the legs on the screen. Kyrie Irving and Jaylen Brown, 18-plus points, and then 3 rebound legs. Jaylen Brown, 4-plus, and Luka and Jason Tatum each to grab 8 boards. You can take a screenshot of it. Damn. Hey, there you go. That's your 5-leg SGP, plus 207 on FanDuel, another 1 unit on this to win back over 2. Look, I think there's good value in doing something like this. So you saw us do a similar thing in the Pacers-Celtics game 1. What we did in that one, we had 1 straight bet and then 1 SGP for like plus 175. I feel like I'd rather target a same game parlay like this instead of trying to make another straight bet. There obviously are some straight bets in here that I do like. Like I did like Jason Tatum's over in rebounds. I really like Kyrie Irving's over in points. I'd just rather put them in an SGP like this where I feel like, maybe we got a chance at plus 207 if we lose 1 unit in the name of value, whatever. I'll live with it instead of maybe forcing a 2nd or 3rd straight bet out there. Now, I know there's going to be questions out there. Austin, I have FanDuel and I can't get 18 points. Yes, you can. You can go to alternate points. You should have those lines. Now, I know there's going to be people out there that say, why are you taking 18 and not 20 plus? And I get that. I get that rationale. However, I'm not going to be sitting back and watching this game and watching Kyrie or Jaylen Brown sitting at 18 saying, dang, God, why did I take 20 plus? I've seen Jaylen Brown end on 18 or 19 points way too many times this year to really say, nope, I'm just not doing it. Look, you could, if I had to pick, oh, God. If I had to pick one of these two guys to go for 20, it would be Kyrie. I just don't trust Jaylen a ton, but I really like both of those two guys. And you could talk about why. I mean, Kyrie Irving, they're going to play one-on-one coverage on him, and he's obviously one of the best scorers in the league. He can get 18 points pretty easily. Jaylen Brown, I feel like, is the guy that, if I'm the Mavericks, I'm going to let Jaylen Brown beat me. I think that's what a lot of teams have done this postseason. He's played pretty well, and he's gotten the job done. I think both those two guys score 18. They probably both score 20, maybe even get over the regular lines like 23.5. I just think the 18 plus for each of them is pretty safe. It's a weird number, but sometimes I feel like those weird numbers much higher chance of hitting than a 20 plus points where you always see a guy end on 19. And you see everyone like, this guy missed a free throw with 1 minute left or 1 second left. That's what I needed. I think the 18 is safe. Now the rest of the legs are all rebounds. Jaylen Brown 4 plus, Jason Tatum 8 plus, and Luka Doncic 8 plus rebounds. Now, if you look at Jaylen Brown, I have my computer here because I brought some notes to the lab with y'all. If you look at Jaylen Brown, 4 rebounds in 8 of his last 9, and versus Dallas, and in 13 of 14 this postseason. Look, like I said, Jaylen Brown's probably not the guy that's guarding Luka Doncic. Maybe he does for some of the game, but they'll probably put Drew Holiday on him. Derek White, probably the guy guarding Kyrie, but maybe you see him switch on and off. But I think Jaylen Brown's getting the Derrick Jones Jr. shadow, if you will, and that should lead him to being down there to grab some rebounds. Pretty good hit rate. Now, as for Jason Tatum, 8 plus rebounds. That's something he's done in 8 of his last, or 12 of his last 14 this postseason, and in 7 straight versus the Mavericks. Same kind of a rationale as Jaylen Brown, except I can pretty confidently say that he's not going to be guarding Luka or Kyrie. You're going to see him probably on P.J. Washington, which I think P.J. can expose that matchup, but I also think Tatum will be down there for some rebounds. He's one of the most consistent rebounders, especially in the postseason. 8 plus, I think he gets that. And Luka Doncic, 8 plus rebounds to wrap up the thing. I mean, he's done that 8 of his last 10, had a couple games with 7 this postseason, but 8 plus and 8 straight versus Boston. We've talked about Boston. They should get the return of Kristaps Porzingis. He was just announced being back. And I think he's going to be out there and stretching the floor, taking Gafford or Lively out of the paint. Even Al Horford can do that. And you'll see those guys out of the paint. And then Luka's probably the number 1 rebounder down there. So, again, second pick, 1 unit. Hopefully not too long of a ramble sesh. 5 legs. You see them all on the screen. Plus 207. I like it. Now, let's finally move to what you came here for. We're going to talk about who I think wins and covers tonight. Now, this is just a lean. I do not have a ton of confidence in this one. However, if I had to put my hard-earned money, I'm sweating because it is hot out here. This is what I would pick. Celtics minus 6.5. Now, this is only a lean. Let's make sure this is noted. My dad is behind the camera. Dad, this is just a lean. It's not something I will put up my own money on, but if I had to bet this game, I would put the Celtics minus 6.5. I have seen them struggle. And you know what? I'm not even going to talk about that a ton because I think that can kind of go into my series prediction, and I'll talk about kind of why I lean that one. Now, I lean the over 5.5 games. However, that's a little too juiced. I didn't check all the sports books. I saw some at minus 150 to minus 170. I think this goes at least 6, maybe 7. If I had to pick, I lean Celtics in 6 and 7. Now, I put that out there why I lean the Celtics minus 6.5 in game 1 because I think they win this game 1. I've seen the Boston Celtics. They've obviously been really good in game 1s this postseason outside of that collapse against the Pacers, where they obviously, well, not collapsed by the Pacers, but, they probably should have lost that game 1. But they played pretty well in the first rounds. And sure, this is the hardest team they will have faced this postseason. But the same stretch, we talked about the Mavericks, a team that has really struggled in game 1s, not just this year, but also under Jason Kidd last year. In their history under Jason Kidd, I feel like the Mavericks are a much better team game 2 and on. So if I were to bet the Mavericks, which I'm not saying that the Celtics easily win this one. Honestly, if the Celtics win this game, I will look into maybe betting the Mavericks if you get a plus 2.5 line that's playable, because I think they at least win 2 games in this series. But I don't think the value's there right now on Mavericks. I think you can probably lose this game and get better value, obviously. So just a lean. I hope we get 6 or 7 games. That's all I'm asking for. And finally, we're doing this in one all takes, so you get the whole thing all in between. I didn't even put it on here. I don't even have a slide for Trina's POD. Does anyone have any guesses for Trina's POD? Trina is my wife, and she's quietly been on a good stretch. She is currently 6-3, which we love to see. Trying to move to 7-3. Her play of the day. Last in Game 5, she had what's his name? She had PJ Washington's over in PRAs. That smacked. Today she's going back to another PRA guy. And any guesses? Any guesses who she's rolling with? Luka Doncic. Over 49.5 PRAs. That is Trina's POD. She is my wife. She doesn't know what the heck she's betting on, but she's having some fun. 6-3. Let's see if she can go to 7-3. That would be electric. But that, again, is Lake Como edition of NBA Best Bets. That is game 1. I will see you guys back for game 2. My dad had 2 picks. Dad, what were your picks? You liked Al Horford over in 3s and Kristaps Porzingis first quarter points. So do whatever you want with that. If you're this far in the video, I appreciate you. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the view as the sun is setting. It is Austin. I'm signing out in a sweaty mess. Going to go take a shower. But these are 2 picks. We're smacking. I'll recap for the one time. We're going with first pick of the day. Ooh, first pick. PJ Washington over in PRAs, 18.5. If it goes up to 19.5, which I don't think it will, you can take it there. And then finally, our 5-leg SGP, 1 unit, plus 207. These 5 legs, Kyrie, Jalen, 18, 488. You guys got it. That is the video. I'll see you guys back tomorrow. Well, not actually tomorrow. In several days for another NBA edition of Best Bets and a new scenery. I'll see you then. Peace!